Hello, everyone. Father Norm here. I'm sure many of you, if not practically all of you, had an opportunity to see or read something of Pope Francis' funeral this past week. It brought the world together in so many ways. I know there were heads of states, people from all over the world, variety of countries, variety of faith traditions, and it was beautiful to see people coming together. That obviously is a testament to Pope Francis and to the best of what it means to be Christian and Catholic. The word here, Catholic, does mean universal. And in some way, what Pope Francis did, and really the message of Jesus, and when people, as he so powerfully did, live that message of Jesus, that does have universal input, universal influence, because we all yearn for seeing what is good and what is positive and what is loving in the whole human family and what brings us together as opposed to divides us. So often, whether it's in our own country, our own family, or in the world around us, we can be distant from one another. We can be argumentative. We can not look for that common ground. And even with our differences, not let differences cause us to be hating in any way. This Pope showed that in life and obviously expressed that in his dying. And we know that the Cardinals right now, as you know, well, beginning May 7th, are going to be coming together in solidarity, prayerful, to discern and be open to the Holy Spirit in terms of who that next Pope will be. Because a Pope, in so many ways, can be a universal pastor. That's what Francis was. I think to many of us who are pastors in parishes, in various church communities, we look to him as an example and as an inspiration. That people, first of all, these days, need to be pastored. They need to see in all of us and through all of us a sense of sensitivity and compassion, understanding, and mercy. Because so many people are hurting in so many ways and need first of all to feel listened to be understood. In talking about that, I want to read one of the quotes from Pope Francis that I think can be something that the cardinals remember these coming days when they have their conversation, and that all of us, and especially in our American culture, can reflect upon and see what is it saying to us and how do we live those gospel ideals. We all know in our culture today, there's a lot of division. There's differences, and differences can be a good thing. I mean, democracy is based on people with differences coming together and jointly getting a sense of, okay, what are the best attitudes? What are the best laws? What are the best ways that we can use our differences and build on them to have a better nation and a better world? Even obviously in family life, we know that there's been a lot of division in recent years. And so how do we come together? Well, I want to read, this is a quote from Pope Francis that I think can speak to this, and that obviously his life characterized. He didn't just write this down and make it meaningful. He lived it and show us how to live it. Here is one brief quote of what he had to say. Dialogue is born from an attitude of respect for the other person, from a conviction that the other person has something good to say. It assumes that there is room in the heart for the other person's point of view, opinion, and proposal. To dialogue entails a cordial reception, not a prior condemnation. In order to dialogue, it is necessary to know how to lower our defenses, open the doors of our heart and our homes, and offer human warmth. The dialogue between us should help build bridges connecting all people in such a way that everyone can see the other, not as an enemy, not as a rival, but as a brother or sister to be welcomed and embraced, founded on our basic common Christian values. You know, the Pope talked a lot about that. Today, we probably have a difficult time having that kind of dialogue. I've seen it even in the church, even with the Pope, where there's differences. There are going to be differences. But again, how do I seek to better understand the point you're making and not only be there to show you, I got to tell you my point of view and I got to win the discussion and you need to see it my way. You know, where's that going to get any of us? How we can be open-minded and open-hearted. How we can have a certain humility. This Pope had that, a humility that says, yes, I need to hear others. We do want to pray for the cardinals, that as they go into this very important dialogue over the next several days, that they too will be listening. And again, another point to make with the cardinals, different maybe than what we think of. I kind of smiled in a way because they're saying, this cardinal has 10 to 1 odds that he'll be the next pope. This cardinal has 40 to 1 odds that he'll be the next pope. These are the top 3 candidates. I mean, we tend to think like that as Americans. But again, the most important reality is that everyone, including all of us, be open to the presence of the Holy Spirit. You know, and in the last time when this Pope actually became the Pope Francis, he wasn't considered one of the top candidates because he was older. He was 76, and I thought, oh, he's too old, because that's our mentality and sizing up who should get it according to our standards. But he became the Pope, and again, the cardinals had listened to one another. They listened to the Holy Spirit. That's the most important influence. Prayerfully open to the Holy Spirit, not first of our own ego or our own convictions, but being prayerful. And there we want to pray for them that they are really asking, okay, Lord, at this moment in time, who is the best person to serve you, Lord, and to bring our church together and to have a positive influence in our world that so often needs that positive influence that shows we are one world, one people, every one of us a child of God, called to come together as brothers and sisters in God. So pray for the cardinals, pray for one another, that all of us will be more guided by the Spirit in all the conversations we talk about. God bless you.